men are living life in reverse. Men are living life based on the timeline of women. We have to stop. We're about 20 years behind women. Hello guys and welcome back. We've had a little change of scenery. Things have just had to be moved around in the original room that I was in, so I've just moved in here. Going to be moving again soon, I think in around about, 10 days. So I'm going to have a new setting as well, which is going to be quite nice. I think I'm going to do that for the winter. I believe there's going to be a second lockdown. So I think it'll be better to move to a different area just to see that out. London's going to be, it's just going to be stupid being in London with the high prices during that time. In this video, we're going to be talking about how men are living life in reverse. So what I mean by that is it revolves very much around the male advantage, but I'll go deeper into what I mean by in reverse. So many guys are saying, you know, they're following the kind of pattern that women would very much do, that you see in magazines, all these media outlets, all these films, especially stuff like Sex and the City, where when they're young, they're kind of pressured to say, okay, you need to get married, you need to have kids. You're 30, you won't have kids yet. You're 30, you haven't been married yet. What's the matter? You're an attractive woman. Nobody wants you. What's going on? You know, all these things are kind of pushed down females' necks. And I was talking to my sister about it recently, and she's, I believe she's 31. And, coming up 31, I guess. And she was saying that she has that kind of same pressure, where everyone's like, look, you're engaged, you better get married soon. You haven't had kids yet, you better have kids soon. You've got your mortgage, you know, that's one step on the ladder. Are you looking to buy another house soon? Does it have enough bedrooms for 2 children? It's just all these pressures for women. But as men, we don't have to live by those set of rules, yet so many men do. So many men see it as the female timeline is the same as the male timeline, and it's like a human timeline. But it's just completely different. It's not true at all. So for a man, you don't have to do the whole marriage, kids, everything in the right order to begin with. To be honest, even if you couldn't get a job or didn't know what you were doing with the first 10 years of your life from 18 to 28, you'd still have an abundance of time to figure things out. Because like I've said to you guys before, we peak later in life. But so many guys go, okay, and here's where it really, really fucks up, guys. This is the one thing that I think you should take from this video. So if you're, wondering what to take from this, listen to this bit right here. So many guys in their teens and their 20s will use those years to kind of work a job that they kind of hate and climb the corporate ladder to try and get more money. They will settle down and they'll maybe go for marriage. Maybe they'll have a child. Maybe they'll save all of their spare disposable income for things like a mortgage. And then they get to like 30, 35, the male advantage, I'd say 35 when things start to peak. And they're in a situation where they have no spare money. They're spending it all on the kids. It's all gone on the house and the mortgage payments that they have to keep paying. They're now thinking, okay, I'm out of shape. I need to do something about it. And it's like, you've done that the wrong way round. That's completely the wrong way around. You've taken on all the liabilities and all the bills and all the things that, yeah, they're beautiful. You know, things like kids and whatever, they're beautiful, and a family is beautiful, but it's going to hamper you moving forwards. Your life's not going to be as good because of these things. They act as like 3 or 4 anchors that are going to pull you back. So the way to do it is to, in your teens and 20s, is to grind and grind and grind and build yourself up, you know, and kind of stay in that college student mindset where you're testing, you know, you've got time, you can mess around, you can try an idea out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. You can, stay single, play the field a little bit. You can say, kids are 20 years away from me. A mortgage, no, it's fine. I'll rent a cheap place. I'll just rent a room. It'll be a bachelor's pad, and I'll just have everything I need in there to operate my idea, my business, do whatever I need to do. I'll have a 9-to-5 job and just work away at it, and just maybe it's a factory job that you don't really care about. Maybe you don't see a future in that factory job, but what you do see is a lot of money from things like overtime that you can just keep stacking in the bank, and you've got low rent and you can keep putting it away. And then, like I said, guys, once you get to like 35, probably 40 plus, to be honest, because the male advantage is around about your 30s to 40s. That's a fantastic period of time for men. And I think early 40s too. But let's say you got to 45. There's nothing to stop you at that point going, okay, I'm going to get a mortgage. I've got a shit ton of money now. I've got millions, hundreds of thousands, whatever, and then saying, right, I'm going to find a partner, somebody that, now that you're older, you can actually pick somebody that you believe you'd probably want to be with, because you're going to evolve, you're going to change over the years. People get together at like 18 years old. They think they're going to be together forever. By 40 years old, you could be two completely different people, which I'm going to do a video on soon. So by the age of like, let's say 45, you might meet a woman who's 32, 33 years old, still got her looks, still in shape, hits the gym, she's done well for herself. You both know what you want, both intelligent people. It works a lot better than the other dynamic, which is just doing it for sex. When you're young, a lot of people do that. And then you could say to that woman then, in your mid to late 40s, let's have children. Let's, if you wanted to do the marriage thing, which I don't recommend, you could do it then. If you wanted to get a mortgage and settle down and, just start that whole family life, you can still do it. And it's actually a better way to do it. But so many guys do it the other way around. So they'll do the marriage, kids, mortgage, massive bills, just living that kind of, let's do everything early, let's push it all out. And then when they get to like 30, they just have kind of an early midlife crisis where for the next 40 to 50 years, they're like, what now? Where do I go? And let's say you want to work on a business, you've got too many ties, too many bills, too many responsibilities. You, at 40 with 2 kids, you can't go and quit your job and be like, I'm going to test this idea out. I think it's going to work. Whereas at 21 with no ties, you can do that. So many guys are living life the wrong way around. They're just obsessed with getting married, obsessed with having kids, obsessed with finding the one, or getting a mortgage because they believe it's an asset, when really it's a massive liability unless you're selling it or renting it out. And the best way to live life, like I said, is like a lot of guys are doing it in reverse. Switch that script. Just turn it on its head and just say, if everybody's living this way, if I do it the opposite way, I'm going to be much better off. Because so many guys out there are scared. They're turning 30. Oh, I'm turning 30. Shit. Or I'm turning 40. I'm panicking. We've got so much time, especially the guys who are in their teens and 20s. You've got so much time. Don't worry at all. Just don't worry. I'm 28 in probably 20 something days. I don't care. I'm so happy that I'm getting closer to 30. So happy. I'm going to use the next 2 years and 1 month or whatever to just work as hard as I can on First Man. Yeah, I could be living a better life. Don't want to. Want to invest it all in this because I know where it's going to go. All my friends getting married, mortgages, having babies, not interested. Happy for them, not interested. Looking at the next stage, the next level. If you here's the thing, right? If you want to know what to do in life, go and ask guys that are older than you or people that are older than you. So go and ask men that are 40, 50 years old what they would do different. And nearly every single one of them is like, I would have waited a lot longer to do the whole kids, marriage, mortgage thing. I would have saved my money young, gone and done things that I wanted to do. I would have traveled the world. I would have gone and done something that benefited me or something that was selfish towards my own life. And you see so many guys that are 40 and 50 years old and they're unhappy. Maybe the kids have left, maybe they're a bit older now, they don't have to look after them. They're unhappy in their lives, they're unhappy in their marriage. They want to sell their house and move to a different place in a different area, maybe a cheaper place because the bills are too much. Maybe, they've just added all these things to their life that they're not happy with. If you go and ask those guys, I'd say one out of 30 will say, I'm glad I did what I did. Another 29 guys might be like, I wish I used my teens and 20s properly, stayed independent throughout my 30s with no ties, enjoyed them, and then in my 40s I would have been a multi-millionaire. I know what I should do now. Don't mess that opportunity up, guys, especially if you're young. If you're one of the older guys and you're in your 40s or your 50s, the choice is yours. If I was 40, I would give another 10 years to just trying to build something, stay independent. I would still think I was young enough. But, you guys that are 50 or plus, whatever, you might have made decisions already. It is what it is. Maybe this video isn't for you. There's plenty more on this channel that is, but maybe this video is speaking for the younger guys. But I think anybody who's under 40, I think stay patient. Stay patient. And anybody who's under 30, please remember that most men are living life in reverse. So if you see your friends getting married, having babies, getting mortgages, laugh it off. Just laugh it off. Just be like, don't be happy for them because that's their choice. You can't say they're worse than you or what they're doing is worse than what you're choosing to do. be happy for them, but just laugh it off in your own life. Just say, like, I'm on a different path. It's not a competition. You know, because this is what so many people do in the modern era, is they see that their friends get married, they get married. They have a baby, I need to catch up, I need to have a baby. You know, they've got a promotion at work, I'm going to go for a new job so that I stay on par with them. You know, it's competition. It's not a competition. It's not a competition. All of my friends pretty much have mortgages. All of them pretty much have got 4 or 5 promotions in the last few years. All of them have got, you know, engaged or married. All of them have got either babies or planning to have babies in the next couple of months or years, whatever. I am going to be that guy that for 10, 15 years beyond that, their kids are going to be like 16 years old before I even entertain that idea. Maybe even 18 years old. And I'm going to be that guy where everyone's like, oh, isn't it sad? I bet he's not happy. I bet I'm going to be so fucking happy. So fucking happy. I'm not looking towards any of that. I'm looking to invest in my business. I'm looking to invest in me, my body, my mind, my future. Because I know at 40 years old, I'm not planning. I made that video the other day, 29 to 40 is only 11 years. I'm not planning to be some fat, lazy bum, just sat in a chair watching sports, just asking my wife to get me a beer, you know, and moaning at the kids for making a mess. I plan at 40 to have a 6-pack, 8-pack, to be in great shape, to be very close to getting to that billionaire level by that point, with everything that I've put in place along the way. And, you know, I will feel, I believe, my dad and my uncle are in their mid-50s now. My dad closer to 60, and they're still shredded. You know, my dad has stage 4 cancer, and they still look like they hit the gym every single day. And it's somewhat genetics, but I look at pictures of them when they were younger, they were just normal skinny guys. But they've dedicated themselves to being active, to lifting weights, to, you know, eating clean. They drink a few beers, but, you know, they've got a little bit more body fat than like a personal trainer or a fitness guy would have. But they're in great shape for guys that are coming up to 60. And I just think they look like they're late 30s, early 40s. And I just think to myself, if I can do the same thing, if I can just maintain and just have a good life, if I get to 45 years old, you know, at that point where I'm still young, I'm still energetic. Most men in their 30s are already overweight and losing it, you know, declining, low energy, can't get an erection. I could be 45 years old and I'm like, right, I've got all the energy in the world, all the money, all the time. I still feel young. You know, my body's in great shape. My mind's still sharp. I'm going to have kids now. I'm going to have kids. I'm going to get a settled home. I'm going to, you know, build a family in that one area. But like I said, guys, that's living life the right way. Everybody else lives it the opposite way. Men are living life in reverse. Men are living life based on the timeline of women. We have to stop. We're about 20 years behind women, I would say, on average. I'd say if they have their first peak year at like 16, and then they begin to, you know, become super attractive as they get closer to, let's say, I'd say maybe 25 is when it starts to wear off. Figures say 22, 23, but I think 25 is when you start to see women drop slightly. So they have their kind of 10 year run there. And I'd say for a man, I'd say it's like 36. That's the like first age of the male peak. I think from 36, you know, your 30s are fantastic, but I'd say 36 to like probably 55. I'd say something around there. So we've got a similar, you know, bracket. It's a much bigger bracket. I would say 30 to 50 is like massive peak. You know, when you're still physically in shape, you still got all of your looks. But 36 is like the main, you know, male advantage peak, like I said to you guys before. But that can go on 55, even closer to 60 if you maintain. But, you know, we've got a decent window, but women have got this small pocket. Everything has to happen fast. Everything that they have to do, the mortgage, like I said, the marriage, the kids, etc. They need to tick these boxes. They've got a biological clock that's saying, let's go, let's get this shit done. As a man, you can sit and be patient. You can enjoy your life. You can invest in yourself. You can wait for these things later on down the line. And it's hard because you're going to get with a woman that's maybe you're 21, she's 21. She's on her timeline, you're on your timeline. But ignore her timeline. You know, that's why I've said for a long, long time, I don't think men should be with a woman that's their age. Obviously, I'm not saying men should be with women that are under 18. But what I'm saying is if a man is like 36 and he's entered the male advantage, he should be with a woman who's like 25 years old because they'll probably be on the same timeline. You know, in like 5 years' time, when she's 30 and you're coming up and you're 41, it might be the perfect time to have a family, to get the mortgage, to settle down and build everything around it. And you both want that at that time. But a 21-year-old man and a 21-year-old woman, you're just going to want different things. You're gonna want completely different things. You know, at 25, the man might be looking at starting a business and doing big things with his life. The woman wants to get a mortgage. The woman wants to do completely other different things, have children. It doesn't really work. The two clash, but men get pushed down that route because that is the female timeline. So men end up living their life in reverse, whereas we just need to be selfish and live that straight line life where we just enjoy ourselves to begin with, invest in ourselves. And then in the second half of our life, 40 onwards, we can still do those other things, but we're in a much better position to do them. And nobody wants to be broke and have kids. Nobody wants to be broke and have a mortgage. Nobody wants to be broke and just paid for a £30,000 wedding that they could have put on themselves. You know, do the stuff for you first. Be selfish. Build your own life. If you want to do that other shit afterwards, do it. But focus on you to begin with and stop living life backwards.